Namaste and welcome back. In the last video, the concepts of such as what is meant by ethical hacking, who is ethical hacker, what is the role of the ethical hacker, and what are the skills that must be possessed by the ethical hacker have been discussed. We have seen that ethical hacker is no way inferior to the normal hacker. However, technically and non-technically, the ethical hacker is very sound, and he majorly not only identifies the vulnerabilities in the applications and systems, but also provides countermeasures. Further, in this video, I will be explaining what are the other skills to be possessed by the ethical hacker, and what are the daily practices and other technical certifications to be acquired by the ethical hacker to have a place in organization, or as we have seen in the previous videos, the ethical hacker may be an individual, or maybe a freelancer, or maybe a consultant. It means that he was not hired by any, he was not an employee of any organization. That means he is a freelancer or a consultant, which means that he will be having a proficiency to conduct his own consultancies. So what are the skills or technical knowledge that an ethical hacker must gain to have that particular status? So in this video, I will be explaining all these concepts. So let us start. An ethical hacker is one with sound technical and non-technical skills. So technical skills are nothing but here knowledge on the computer networks, knowledge on the operating system, knowledge on various security tools, and knowledge on the organizational security policies. Not only organizational security policies, but also international security policies and standards. At the same time, he must also have knowledge on the non-technical things such as the knowledge of the law of the land, and he should have good work ethics, and must be enthusiastic in learning new technologies, new tools, new methods. These are the qualities that an ethical hacker must possess. However, after looking at all these qualities, one may think that is the only ethical hacker will look after all the security things in an organization? So this is the most common doubt we used to get. But basically, ethical hacker is one of the role in the organization who will identify these security defects or vulnerabilities or threats in the developed applications. But there exists there will be a huge number of people available in the security teams, especially. Each and everyone will do their own task, but ethical hacker is one special role that have the knowledge of both technical and the policy related matters. So in this video, we will see what are the other roles and responsibilities in an organization which are related to security, so that along with the ethical hacking posts in the organization, what are the other related security related professionals or the employees will be available, and what are their roles will be seen in this particular video. The information security teams at the organization, they are especially these teams' ultimate aim is to assure the information security pillars. In the first video, we have seen the information security definition and what are the pillars of the information security. So those 5 pillars must be must be assured by this particular information security team in any organization. So what are those 5 pillars? The 5 pillars are confidentiality, authentication, integrity, availability, and non-repudiation. So these are the 5 pillars must be assured by this information security team. In the process of assuring these 5 pillars, so what are the different roles they will take up, or what are the different works they will take up in an organization? So first one is they will develop guidelines, policies, and processes. So these technical teams will develop the guidelines or guidelines for the how to use the application and how to follow the security steps in using the application. So this kind of documenting work will be done by these people. Next one is policies and processes will also be developed by these information security or information assurance team. Next one is designing network and user authentication plans. So what are the network authentications are required? Like who can access the network and who cannot access the network? What are the resources a particular user can access in a network? Depending upon role, what are the access control list? So various other things related to the authentication will be planned by these people. Next one is identification of vulnerabilities and threats. So in this position, the ethical hacker role will come into the picture. Identification of vulnerabilities and threats. Usually, identification of vulnerabilities will be done majorly by this hacking team, ethical hacking team, and threats identification and threat analysis, threat modeling will be done by the risk assessment team. So there is another team that we'll discuss in the next slides. The next one is identifying problems and resources requirements to fix the above vulnerabilities. Anyhow, whenever the vulnerabilities were identified by the ethical hacker, he will suggest the fixing time, and he will assess how much time or how much risk the organization has to take in order to fix those vulnerabilities. So based upon that, there will be some other security teams who will identify the problems and resource requirements to fix the above vulnerabilities. Next one is once these resources were identified or once the problem was sketched out, so there will be other security team members who will plan the identified resource requirements. Whether the resource requirements can be reachable or not, whether the related budget estimations, planning and all will be done by that security team. Next one is designing and applying information assurance controls. So here information assurance controls, in the sense all the 5 pillars, whether these 5 pillars are reached depending upon the application or not, will be verified by or will be designed and applied by some security team members. Next one is information assurance training and certification. So this is very important. Apart doing all the above topics is one step, and information assurance training and certification is another step. The reason is in the information assurance training, these people, security team members, will give the training to the employees and staff of the organization regarding how to use the network in a secured manner. Because periodic training is required in many of the organizations, the retention of the employees will be very low. Sometimes they will come and they will go. Regularly, new employees will come and some old employees may leave. So obviously, the new batch of employees must be trained to have this particular to have awareness of this particular security policies. Not only providing training, but also they should upgrade their knowledge by writing some standard certifications The certifications offered by well-known security bodies like the SANS Institute or any other related things, related security authorities. So depending upon the product they use, depending upon the tools they use for the security maintenance, the related certifications they should also write and get the particular certifications. So as number of certifications they do, their proficiency skill, knowledge level will also grow. And finally, all put together, this is said to be information security management. So this particular information security management team will be there. The head of this is information security manager. So this mostly this team will be guided by the information security manager in a organization. So this information security management encompasses the all organizational and operational processes and participants relevant to the information security will be enclosed will be under this particular information security management. So that means information security management is not only looking at the checking for the vulnerabilities and threats, but they should also consider the entire organization, the operational process of the organization, and who are the stakeholders of that particular organization, and the standards, procedures, and policies of the particular organization. By considering all these things, they need to establish the required level of information security for the particular organization, at the same time for the products what they develop. So this is ultimately a tedious task and a challenging task also for the information security team to maintain all these things. So by and large, the information security management consisting of the both the governance of the governance and compliance. At the same time, along with this governance compliance, will be guarded with various security policies, the various business resiliences, training and awareness, security metrics and reporting. These are the various other branch of security studies. So all these things will be under this particular information security management. So hence, please remember that ethical hacker is not only the security role available in any organizations. However, they possess the ethical hacker is somewhat special. The reason is he will be the core of this entire framework, and also focus on the identifying of vulnerabilities and threats. So unless until they won't identify these policies, guidelines, training, certification, so these are the things framing. All these framing may not exist. However, unless until the policies and procedures are not prepared well, the ethical hacker cannot also proceed in a sophisticated way to identify the vulnerabilities and threats. So both the security policies designing and other managerial procedures and vulnerabilities identification and threat identification will go in hand. So that is the reason each role will have its significance in organization. So that is the reason being an ethical hacker, you must have the minimum idea of what are the other roles and responsibilities in the organization, so that you can easily suggest any countermeasure or requirements and related things, planning related or designing related things or application related things to other security team members. So this is what the intention behind explaining this particular availability of other teams, security teams in organizations, along with the ethical hacking post. To this end, National Institute of Standards for Technology, NIST, has provided a framework for maintaining the cyber security. Previously, we have seen the information security management team at the organization. This is a cyber security framework given by NIST. Basically, the information security or cyber security, any security aspect of the organization is a continuous process, because new threats and vulnerabilities will come into existence, and for that the countermeasures, whatever they do, or they prepare patches, etc., is a continuous process. So that is reason this identification of the vulnerabilities to designing of the policies and providing information to the stakeholders. See, all these steps are the repetitive steps, and this is a continuous step, continuous process. Various states or steps available in this framework are: the current state. Current state means identify the priorities, determine the compliance requirements, reviewing existing policies, practices, and identifying of the vulnerabilities and risk events. Previously, first 3-4 steps previous in the previous slide will come under the current state. Next is assessment state, in which identifying threats, review the vulnerabilities, define probability and likelihood of the occurring of these vulnerabilities. Next, categorizing of these identified risk as a medium, low, high, etc. So next is creating risk heat map. So how much intensity that particular risk may be, so that the organization network may be compromised. After assessment, next is target state, identifying the mitigation approaches. So either to develop patches or to release a new version, or try to abandon the existing version, or see what are the things that can be taken. Next is translate the mitigation into desired outcomes. Then define the goals for the desired outcomes. So these are the things must be done in the target state. Next is reviewing and outlining of the security priorities. After doing this, all the experiences must be documented, so that these experiences will help other projects to not to face these kind of problems whenever they develop. So that is reason these experiences will be documented properly, and finally a roadmap will be prepared. That is quantify and score current state, whether it is a low level intensities, or medium level, or how or average. So this kind of rating will be given, or score will be given. So next is establish the budget and identify resources, define the target within budget, because allocating budget to the entire project is one, then is one issue. Then after identifying vulnerabilities, after completion of the entire product, again allocating some new resources or new budget is a tedious task. And also resources usually limited for a particular budget. For a particular project, estimated budget crosses means obviously the clients will also lose the interest in the project, at the same time on the organization also. Hence, define the targets within the budget. Next is share results with the stakeholders, because stakeholders in many of the public limited companies, stakeholders will play a major role. So that reason these results must be shared with the stakeholders. If the results are need to be given to the common users, then they can be given, or only to the technical team or technical stakeholders, that should be shared among the technical stakeholders. So this is the way how the framework will go on. So this is the cybersecurity framework given by the NIST, which is a very popular framework and followed by many organizations. So whenever the ethical hacker presents the vulnerabilities, obviously whatever the risks, if the vulnerabilities were exploited by the attacker, and what are the other risks can be posed by exploiting these vulnerabilities. So these kind of things will be assessed by the risk assessment team. So this threat modeling will be done by the risk assessment team. So basically threat modeling is nothing but assessing the risk if the identified or any loophole or threat was exploited by the attacker in the application developed by the organization. So in that, various steps to be followed in threat modeling are, first of all, this risk assessment team must understand the security objective. So understanding the security objectives in the sense, what is the effort required to fix these vulnerabilities based upon these particular security objectives of the application or the organization. So that will be estimated first. Next is they will understand the application, and understanding application is nothing but understanding the components and the architecture. So basically, this risk assessment team, security team, or the third party team, they are no way related with the development team, because developers know that developers will always feel that whatever they have developed is an excellent product. So that reason, it is just like you write an article of 2 or 3 pages, read the same article for 4 or 5 times, but still you won't find any mistake. But if the same essay was given to some third party and ask them to read, and if you find one mistake, I will give you 1 rupee. So obviously you will be you will surprised that you will find so many mistakes. So they will try to identify mistakes as many mistakes as possible, because they are paid for that. So in same way, here also, whenever the application is developed, the developers don't know, even though developers develop it in a good manner by strictly following software engineering principles, but still they won't identify any kind of error or bug. Errors anyhow they will be identified at the time of compilation. They may not identify bugs or vulnerabilities. So thereby what will happen? Organizations will approach these security teams. So what they do is they will understand the architecture, they will understand the components used, and the high level and low level architecture of the application. Once they understand the components, then they will go for the decomposing of the applications. Either they may do the testing in a black box manner or maybe white box manner. Black box in the sense they don't know about the internal architecture, but they simply pass on some arguments and some kind of methods to the particular application and find out is there any security vulnerabilities available. In the white box manner means first they will understand the components, they will understand the architecture, then they will go and insert some scripts. Thereby they will identify is there any threats or what you call vulnerabilities identified in that. So decomposing application means this decomposition will be done for identification of the threats. So once the threats are identified, they will be reported. Then with these threats, along with these threats, any vulnerabilities available or vulnerabilities are identified. If they are identified, then what is the risk level? What are the weaknesses identified in the application or defects identified in the application? And categorization of these vulnerabilities will be done by this particular risk assessment team. Like this, another popular role and we frequently listen is penetration testing. So people will say that ethical hacking and penetration testing are one and the same. However, almost they are one and the same, but have some differences that I will explain in this after these slides. So along with this risk assessment team, information security assurance team, information security team, cyber security team, this penetration testing team is also one type of role available in the organizations. So this penetration testing is also said to be pen testing. So penetration testing is nothing but intruding the organization network legally. It is similar like ethical hacking. In the ethical hacking, or ethical hacker will also intrude into the organization network legally. As we have seen in the last video, the ethical hacker and the organization will go for a legal document. What are the things to be checked? What are the things should not be touched? So this kind of things. So intruding the organization network legally is said to be pen testing. It is an attempt to simulate attacks on organization network to identify vulnerabilities in the security. The main difference between an ethical hacker and pen tester is penetration tester will possess same technical knowledge of the ethical hacker, but the penetration tester or pen tester do not possess the non-technical skills. That means he do not have an understanding of the law of the land or security policies or something. Penetration tester will only test the organization and the applications with the legal documents, with the legal signing and all. Finally, after performing the penetration testing, he will report what are the vulnerabilities identified in the application. He will not make any comments or any suggestions or any countermeasures for that. But in case of ethical hacking or ethical hacker, he will also play the role of pen tester. At the same time, the ethical hacker will also report, present the countermeasures, will present the resources required, time required, effort required to fix these vulnerabilities. That means suggestions will also be provided after identifying the vulnerabilities by the ethical hacker, but penetration tester responsibility is to penetrate into the organization network legally and identify the vulnerabilities and report them. So here, analyzing, documenting and reporting the vulnerability is the task of the penetration tester, but not providing the recommendations or countermeasures is not the part of the penetration testing. So person who do pen testing is said to be penetration tester or pen tester. Pen tester only identify problems in the security system. However, he will not suggest solution. So this is what the major difference between the penetration testing and the ethical hacker. So by this time you come to know that if you want to become an ethical hacker, you should also possess non-technical skills that I have mentioned previously along with these technical skills. If you possess only technical skills, then you will fit for this penetration testing post. So I hope by this time you might have come to know what is meant by ethical hacking and what is the role and responsibilities of the ethical hacker. As we have seen just now, the pen testing is similarly like our ethical hacking. Now we'll see what is meant by what are the pen testing types and pen testing phases. Here pen testing types, there are three types are there: black box pen testing, white box pen testing and gray box pen testing. See, black box pen testing, the name itself telling you that here the pen tester does not have any idea about the application architecture. So he will go for blind testing and double blind testing of the application. Where in case of white box testing, the pen tester understands the architecture of the application or system, and he will be having complete knowledge of the application. Then thereby, based upon the knowledge what he gained, he draft or he will write a script or maybe any other plan for performing the penetration testing. Next one is a gray box. So it is the average of black box and white box kind of thing, like only limited knowledge on of the architecture of the application will be available to the penetration tester. While coming to the penetration testing phases, whatever the hacking phases that we discussed in the last video, same phases will be used here also. Previously these phases are said to be pre-exploitation phase, exploitation phase and post-exploitation phase. But while coming to the penetration testing point of view, these phases are said to be pre-attack phase, attack phase and post-attack phase. Here pre-attack phase in the sense information gathering and scanning. Attack phase means the exploitation, and post-attack phase means maintaining the access and clearing the tracks. So ethical hacker and penetration tester will do the same thing, same 5 steps. Whatever the hacking steps are there, the same steps will be followed by the penetration tester and ethical hacker. However, penetration tester will not provide any suggestions after identifying any vulnerability. Now we'll see the absence of the ethical hacker. Penetration tester is present in the organization. What is the importance of performing this pen testing in the organization? The first and foremost thing is identifying threats faced by the organization's assets. Organization may consisting of several assets like network devices, servers, web servers, application servers, intrusion detection systems, firewalls, and other wireless devices for the communication. So identifying threats faced by the organization assets, that means these threats may be occurred in several ways like host based threats, network based threats, and application based threats. So in these 3 categories, whatever the threats that are faced by the organization will be identified by this particular penetration testing. Next one is to reduce the IT security expenditure. Every organization will maintain a budget for the information technology security or information security. So whenever regular penetration testing is happening in the organization, then obviously they will be mentally prepared and the policies what they make may reduce the IT security expenditure. IT security expenditure is just like a defense expenditure of any country. As you find the lowering the number of threats to the country, the minimum defense security expenditure will be maintained. Otherwise, as the number of threats increases, the security expenditure should also increase annually. So that is the reason this periodic penetration testing will help the organization to reduce the IT security expenditure. Next one is to increase the return on security investment. So security investment return will be increased. To increase this, the penetration testing will help a lot. So next one is to gain the industry regulation certifications. So how in software engineering you might have studied that an organization is perfectly following various software engineering principles, then it will be assessed via a CMM capability maturity model, level 1, level 2, level 3, level I plus, so like that some categories will be given. Like that the security standards that are followed by organization, with that they can also go to the certifications for that organization, so that the reputation of the organization will increase in the market. These certifications may be BS 7799 kind of certification or HIPAA kind of certification. So like that all these are the security related certifications that are followed by the organizations. Next one is to evaluate the efficacy of the network devices, because to make protection to the organizational network, obviously organization will purchase will spend more money for purchasing the high security systems, and they used to launch various high capability web servers, application servers, and cloud servers. So this penetration testing will help them to identify the efficacy of the network devices what they have in their organization. Next is to prepare for upcoming exploitations. So based upon the already identified vulnerabilities, they can mentally prepare or they can document so that they can prepare for next projects to overcome the already identified vulnerabilities so that the project design may be considered by considering the identified vulnerabilities so that already available vulnerabilities can be avoided in the next products. Finally, to validate the efficacy of security protection and control. Security protection and control, in the sense, the organizations usually upgrade the infrastructures because they won't maintain continuously the old softwares or hardwares. So they continuously upgrade. In this upgradation, obviously this upgradation will be made for the increasing the security protection of the organization, and at the same time with these upgradations, various controls will also be placed on the accessing of those resources. So this penetration testing will help them to identify is there any vulnerability available in the upgraded versions of the software, hardware, or the network design, or in the already allocated access controls will be identified by the organization. So with this, one can understand that the penetration testing is not a small task. It requires a lot of expertization, it requires a lot of technical skills, it requires huge dedication, and with the utmost dedication and proficiency, the vulnerability identification must be done. So penetration tester is having the same kind of status as ethical hacker, because penetration tester will also come with the same technical skills as the ethical hacker. So by this time you might have observed the importance of penetration testing in any organization. So many organizations wants their network assets and organizational assets to be safe from hacking by the outsiders, intruders. So obviously they used to hire these penetration testers and ethical hackers. Now we'll see what is the pen testing methodology followed in general in any organization. First one is like a pre-exploitation phase, how the attacker will do the reconnaissance step, that is information gathering. So here also the penetration tester will do the information gathering, vulnerability analysis. See, I'm keep on repeating this vulnerability analysis and vulnerability analysis, because this vulnerabilities, what are the identified vulnerabilities are there, they are openly available in the open websites, open databases. Anyone can go there and can search it. I will give you the details of these websites and all in the later section. So that reason, once you know the version and service that is running on any system or network, we can directly use that service number and version number for searching in that vulnerability databases, and automatically the vulnerability details and how to exploit will also come on the you can come to know the exploiting technique also. So that is the reason this vulnerability analysis is very important in the penetration testing. Next one is external and internal network penetration testing. That means the penetration tester will not only test the internal network but also with the permission of the company, they will also test the external networks, because the organizations may be having the branches and other allied partners, so they may also use these organization networks. So that is the reason, with the permission from the organization, the penetration testers will also do this external and internal network penetration testing. And very important penetration testing aspect here is penetration testing of the firewalls, which are considered as the second level of the defense in information security, like firewalls, virtual private networks, intrusion detection systems that have placed at the DMZ, demilitarized zone level, will be tested in this penetration testing. Basically, whenever any attacker conducts this SQL injection techniques, this you can see here, SQL injection pen testing. So in this SQL injection, the attacker can do you can use some variety of queries so that it will be remain undetected by the intrusion detection systems or firewalls. So that kind of things will be checked here whenever the penetration testing of firewall, VPN and IDS is performed. Next one is social engineering penetration testing. So as the name itself telling you that social engineering means via social gathering, social acquiring the information via social sites, and with that they try to do the penetration testing. Next is password cracking pen testing, web application pen testing, web servers penetration testing, SQL injection pen testing, network devices pen testing, DOS pen testing, mobile devices pen testing. So here mobile devices may be like laptops, maybe mobile phones, tabs, etc. DOS penetration testing in the sense denial of service penetration testing. A denial of service may occur in multiple ways. Maybe of denying the service, the related packets may not be reached, or overflowing of the packets, or the increasing the response time of the service provider may also deny the service of others, so thereby denial of service occurs. So like that, in many ways the denial of service can occur. So they will try to do all possible denial of service methods, so that with that they will come to know the cause behind happening of this denial of service on the organizational network. Next one is source code penetration testing. Sometimes source code may also have some bugs, so thereby with that bug the attacker may enter into the system or application. Next one is security patches penetration testing. So this is quite interesting thing that usually the security patches will be prepared to patch the vulnerability available in the already existing versions of the applications. But if the security patches itself have the vulnerabilities, then it is a very difficult task. So that is the reason security patches penetration testing is very will be considered very seriously. Next one is database pen testing. So if there exists any vulnerabilities in the databases, obviously the customer information, customer details, email IDs, sensitive data can be leaked out. Next one is VM penetration testing. VM means virtual machine. To launch multiple operating systems or to work with multiple operating systems on one particular OS, this virtual machine is used. This virtual machine will be having all features that a particular computer machine will be having. So if there exists any problem with the virtual machine, then this VM may be hacked. So VM penetration testing is one kind of area in the penetration testing methodology. Next one is log management penetration testing. See, we have seen in the hacking phases, the last phase deals with the clearing of the tracks. So where these tracks will be recorded? Basically, in any operating system, the tracks will be recorded as log of the operating system. Whenever these logs are deleted, then it is very difficult for any security auditor to identify any event was happened in the operating system. If the event is not recorded, then obviously it is very difficult for the security auditor, and security auditor may also come to a conclusion that nothing was happened in the system. So that is reason log management penetration testing is very important, because it will, if it is not done properly, then the attacker can easily clear the tracks. Next one is data leakage pen testing. Data leakage pen testing, this data leakage may also happen if database was hacked, or data leakage may also happen when the OS was security was breached, because whenever the OS security was breached, then the username, password, everything will be leaked out, and the sensitive information, files, everything can be accessed by the hacker. Next one is, nowadays every organization is moving towards the cloud platforms. So cloud pen testing, cloud infrastructure pen testing is also another area in the pen testing methodology. Next is telecommunications pen testing. Whatever the telecommunication systems and devices they use, with that also the penetration, the attacker may identify the loopholes and may enter into the organization network. Next one is security devices pen testing. See, security devices may be like the surveillance systems, or maybe any other security devices placed in and around the organization, which are connected to the internet, may also be prone to the hacking by the hackers. So that reason these devices should also be pen tested. So in this way, various methodologies are there. I have listed only few. But as a penetration tester, are you supposed to do everything? I don't think so. You have to do everything. But you should have idea of each and everything. That means you should have a minimum knowledge on each and every pen testing methodology. So in this course, by and large, we'll cover many of these penetration testing methodologies. But one thing you must remember is the most commonly used devices like computers, laptops, or wireless devices, databases, application level like databases, web applications, web servers, operating systems. So these most commonly used devices pen testing should be known to us. Some are the specialized topics that by acquiring the experience on the basic things, you may go for learning of the advanced things. So hence the basic penetration testing part you must know to make a step towards becoming ethical hacker. Finally, we'll see two major security teams at organizations. First team is said to be blue team, and second team is said to be red team. So the names are quite interesting. You look at the blue team and red team. The red team actually are the penetration testers with limited access to the organizational resources, and by red team will conduct pen testing with or without notice. So their objective is to identify network and system vulnerabilities. Basically, this red team people are not the part of organization. They will be hired by organization to do this particular task, that is penetration testing task. In order to do this penetration testing task, they will first go for a legal agreement documenting that what are the assets that to be go for pen testing, and what are the systems or what are the IP ranges that a red team can go through for penetration testing. So we can say, in other words, red team is the third party that may be hired or may be taken consultancy by the organization to perform this penetration testing activity. Where in case of blue team, the objective of blue team is to identify the red team activities. So blue team can identify the red team activities in the sense they are within the organization. So blue team people are one who are the part of the organization. They are especially the security responders. If any attack was happened, the blue team will be consulted first for any security response. That is, if any hacking activities are observed by the organization. And this blue team is having access to all resources of the organization. Where in case of red team will be having limited resource. That means with the limited resource, if the red team can hack the organization network, then it must be considered very seriously, because limited resource if they provide, that means limited access if they provide, and if they escalate the privileges and go to hack the organization network, means this is a serious issue that must be considered. So blue team are ethical hackers who are available within the organization with the full control of the resources of the organization, and they are the first responders, security responders. Next is the red team are one who are outside of the organization, that means who are the third party, but the organization will hire them or may take the consultancy from them to perform the to explore or identify the vulnerabilities, so that these penetration testing process done by the red team may or may not be known to the blue team people. So thereby, without notice and with notice, the blue team has to be very alert, because they are said to be the security responders to guard the organizational assets from the hackers. So these are the two teams available in any organization. So if you want, if you might have become a good penetration tester and an ethical hacker, then you can choose the blue team if you join any organization, or if you are a consultant for this purpose, then any organization may hire you as a red team members. So for more details on the red team and blue team, here a beautiful article was given in the EC Council, Electronic Commerce Council blog. Now we'll see that, just I'm going to that particular link, and here the link is also provided here. So just you click this link so that this article will come. So here, this is the article. So here the red team and blue team's comparison was given. So red team, the objective of red team is to exploit, compromise and circumvent the organizational assets, where in case of blue team is to detect and prevent security controls. Attacks are simulated by a red team, whereas control measures will be done by the blue team. So what are the list of activities will be carried out by the red team was given here. Conduct remote attack via internet, DNS tunneling, ICMP tunneling, intrusion attempts, insider threats, VPN based attacks, like that. A list of activities that will be carried out by the red team was given here. And on the right hand side, to compare with the red team, in blue team, the list of activities to be carried out by the blue team has been given here. So this is just like a dummy war between the red team members and blue team members, but blue team members should be very, very, very cautious in safeguarding their organizational assets, because as we have seen previously, the penetration testing on the organization by the red team may be done with notice or without notice. So the reason blue team people must be so alert in safeguarding the organizational assets. So to conclude, in this video, we started with the discussion on the skills of the ethical hacker. Then with the doubt of that is the only ethical hacker available in any organization to safeguard the organizational assets? No, there are many other teams available, like information security team and the cyber security team, the risk assessment team, penetration testing team, and we have seen the difference between the penetration testing and the ethical hacking. And penetration testing activities, types, and phases are similar to the ethical hacking phases or hacking phases that we have discussed in the previous videos. That is pre-exploitation phase, exploitation phase, and post-exploitation phase, black box, white box, and gray box type of testings. Then we have seen what is the importance of penetration testing in any organization. Why this particular penetration testing is much important. Then we moved on to the penetration testing methodologies. And finally, we have seen the two major teams that are available with any organization for performing or conducting the penetration testing activities and safeguarding the organizational assets, which are blue teams and red team. So with some more topics, we will see, we will meet in the next video.